What is your American dream?
My American dreams at this moment, living the blissful aspect of knowing that I could be free of my detachments. If I could detach anything that is creating pain, and that this country has allowed me to become the best version of me, I think that is called the American dream for me.
The American dream too is about realization. The most important thing in my life is to find my home. I'm so grateful to be living in America, and it's such an experience for me. To connect with my soul is the way that I'm living my American dream.
Living the American dream in the wildest dream. Who would I ever thought that I was going to live in New York City, having these amazing choices and possibilities? America has been the best gift I ever had, because it has allowed me to become the best version of who I am.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. It's Hump Day, Wednesday, August 18th, 2021. We are right in the middle of the week, which is why we call it Hump Day, Yo-Yo, or do we call it Hump Day for another reason?
I feel like it's for another reason.
You think it's for another reason?
Oh,
there she is.
Quick. Come on with the
new
braids.
do. With a new do.
Me gusta, me gusta.
It's exciting around here.
Yes.
Que bonita.
I'm not allowed to say that.
Oh, this is my sis. I can.
I know. I'm her boss. She'll
Que
sue me.
bonita. Isn't it like very pretty?
No, que bonita is what, like saying like what beautiful or something like that, right?
Yeah, que bonita is like so beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, que bonita.
Yeah, you shouldn't say it. I'll say
Yeah.
it. Que bonita.
No, you're supposed to say Linda, right? What is Linda?
Linda.
Linda. What does that mean?
Like que linda.
Beautiful too,
Yeah,
right?
que linda.
Que Linda.
Not Linda.
Linda lives in Arizona. Linda. I'll keep to English, I think.
There you
Let's
go.
say hello. All right, what we've learned is I don't know Patwan, I don't know Spanish. What other languages don't I know, right? All right, let's, Celia Enot, squad up. How are you? Marcia McCullough, squad up. And Renee Stewart, what's going on? Terry Faith, Jessica Leamy, Rob J. Roberts, loving the Brad Show Live pre-show music. And he loves it.
Yes.
Mavo Tom, squad up. Carol the Tiger, how are you? Elizabeth Francis, Jewel Delph, and Lisa Bling Rose, squad up. Uncle Brad, Yo-Yo, Vanessa, it's Hump Day. Marcia McCullough also in the comments. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Debisha Black is present. Ua Samba Tessie is also nice to be here. Shan Smith, hey Brad Squad family. Celia Enot's double fisting. Sophia Bailey, Elizabeth Francis also double fisting. Jessica Leamy double fisting. The Top Cat Tigress 2, Carol double fisting. Danny Boy saying good evening to everybody. Marion Takak. It's a good Hump Day word. Hump Day name. Miroslav Mikov.
Yeah.
Eveliana Rivera, Keviar Harris. All right, Jonathan, take it away.
Absolutely. All right, squad. We need you guys to share right now on all social media platforms, because we're about to start schmoozing with Brad, talking headlines, including new statistics on Afghan refugees from the International Organization for Migration.
And it's Wednesday, squad, so it's time for Hump Day stories, including Britney Spears' explanation for her recent topless Instagram posts.
And you could always give us a call at the telephone number below. We have open lines, 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. From around the world, it's +1 212-227 8933. And after we schmooze, after we do our hump day, after we do our braducation, after we do our social media check-in, later in the show, I'll be speaking with Puerto Rican actor and comedian Carlos Santos, who stars in the hit Netflix series Gentefied, which I believe was just picked up for a second season.
Nice.
All right, you ready for some schmoozing?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. All right, so Afghanistan's still in the news. The Taliban is consolidating power in Afghanistan. They're going to be running the show there for a while. More refugees are expected to evacuate the country. The International Organization for Migration estimates that since international troops started withdrawing in May, at least 30,000 people have been fleeing Afghanistan since then. Since the start of this year, more than 400,000 Afghans have been forced from their homes and displaced. The United States reportedly plans to admit 30,000 refugees on special immigrant visas. Some of those refugees are already being flown out of the country. Germany and Great Britain also, I have read, is also going to accept some refugees as well.
Okay.
A bipartisan group of senators is urging the Biden administration to create a specific humanitarian parole category for Afghan women, including leaders, journalists, activists, security forces, and others who are at risk in the wake of the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan. We already talked about yesterday that you can already apply, even though there is no special category for women and journalists in Afghanistan and children, you can apply for humanitarian parole, even if there is no special category. You just have to explain what your particular situation is. I guess if they make a special category, it would make it more newsworthy. It would make more people aware that they're able to file for this humanitarian parole, but you could already do it. 3 Republican senators, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Jim Inhofe of Oklahoma have joined Democrats in signing and requesting the Biden administration to do such a thing. Earlier this month, the State Department announced the creation of a Priority 2 designation within its refugee program for certain Afghans who have worked in the United States but do not qualify for special immigrant visas. But those refugees have to apply for refugee status in a third country. You can't apply for a refugee status within Afghanistan. So right now, as we talked about yesterday, if you have family in Afghanistan, they have not yet been evacuated, and you are concerned for them, there are 3 things you can do. 1, if you can get them to a third country, or they can get to a third country, yes, they can apply for refugee status. This Priority 2 designation by the State Department for certain Afghans who worked with the United States but didn't qualify for special immigrant visa status, and others as well. You don't necessarily have to work for the United States of America to apply for refugee status. You can do humanitarian parole. Even though there is no category for humanitarian parole for Afghans, anyone could apply for humanitarian parole. And of course, there is military parole. If you have a relative in the United States who already got their special immigrant visa and has connections or contacts still with the military, they can ask their contact in the military to make a special application for their family members. It's called military parole, and the military actually files it directly with the Department of Homeland Security. Meanwhile, Biden administration officials said yesterday that the United States is going to ramp up the pace of evacuations. At a news conf briefing at the Pentagon, Army Major General William Taylor told reporters that Karzai International Airport in Kabul remains secure. The Biden administration, after withdrawing all the troops, as we talked about yesterday, sent back 7,000. So we withdrew for 24 hours, let the Taliban take over, and then we sent 7,000 back. That's basically what happened. Now, over the next 24 hours, the speed of evacuations are going to pick up, with the U.S. military expected to achieve roughly 1 aircraft per hour in and out of the airport. We predict that our best effort could look like 5,000 to 9,000 passengers departing per day out of Afghanistan.
Do you think that they would actually try and stop them, like the Taliban? You know,
I don't know.
I would think like they're like, in a,
Like
are they
you ever
like
see
a
that movie
secret?
Argo?
Yeah,
With
like
Bennifer?
Yeah.
You ever see Bennifer's? Well, Jennifer. Well, I'm just calling him Bennifer.
Yeah.
Argo, where the Iranian military
That
tried
was
to
scary.
stop. That was very scary. At the
Argo
end.
was
Yeah.
a scary movie,
Yeah.
and that was a true story.
True story.
Yeah.
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 I didn't watch that one. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen
Wasn't it like it was back
It was
like
back
70s?
in 1979
There you go. Mhm.
when the
was
Iranian
wild.
militants took over the American embassy.
Yeah, that
and
was
they
wild.
took the hostages, the personnel who worked at the U.S. embassy hostage, American citizens.
Yeah.
But then about 20 workers, Americans working at the U.S. embassy, escaped to the Canadian
Mm-hmm.
consulate, and then eventually to the consul general of Canada's home, where they hid for 3 months until Ben Affleck showed up and snuck him out of the country.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't really Ben Affleck; he was playing somebody.
Yeah, he was
who
playing
snuck
somebody.
him out. But it was scary at the end
That
because
was
they tried
scary.
to stop him at the airport.
They
right?
tried to stop him.
Yeah.
Oh God! Like my heart, I remember watching it. My heart
Yeah.
was beating.
But that was a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Taliban said in the first news conference yesterday that they are going to honor women's rights, but within the norms of Islamic law. So
What rights
you know,
are those?
everybody's interpretation of Islamic law is a little different. So you know, who knows what their interpretation is
Right.
within Islamic law. He said that the Taliban wanted to provide private media to remain independent, but within the norms of Islamic law. They should not work against national values. So I don't
I need
know.
to- I need
so
to know what
everything-
these laws are.
Everything has a but.
Right.
So I don't like, you know, when somebody says, I'm going to do something, but.
There should never be a but.
There should be
Just
no
like
buts.
with apologies, there should never
Right,
be
there
a
should
but.
be no buts. Now, they're trying to portray themselves as a little more moderate.
Well, that's good,
Earlier,
at least.
Emmanuel Samingani, earlier today, a member of the Taliban Cultural Commission, promised amnesty and encouraged women to join the government. So we'll see
Wow.
what happens there. In another sign, a female television anchor on a private broadcaster, Tolo, interviewed a Taliban official on camera Tuesday in the studio, an interaction that would once be unthinkable.
Wow.
But other women are terrified to go out. Most are wearing burqas on the streets. Some are not. Most are. Some are being threatened by, you know, it depends on who you see on the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think there's like full control over what each individual person's doing. While the Taliban pledged not to go after their enemies, it has been reported that fighters have lists of people who cooperate with the government and are seeking them out. On Monday, Afghanistan's United Nations representative Ghulam Isaczai, I can't pronounce his name, Isaczai, said that the Taliban has already begun the process of locating people on a target list by conducting house-to-house searches.
Wow.
And in other news, Haiti is also being devastated, not by the Taliban, but by an earthquake and a tropical storm. The earthquake on Saturday was like a double punch. What do you call it?
Yeah.
You know, a rope-a-dope. I don't know,
Right.
whatever you call it. The death toll from Saturday's 7.2 earthquake, more than 1,941 confirmed dead, more than 9,900 injured. The hospitals are overwhelmed. Then within a day, they got hit by Tropical Storm Grace.
It's like, what?
Yeah. UNICEF has estimated the earthquake has affected 1.2 million people.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And in more trifling news, because we don't have enough trifling news.
Because it ain't Friday yet.
Yeah, more trifling news. The world will be coming to an end. No, the world will not be coming to an end.
No.
No. A judge reinstated Donald Trump's remain in Mexico asylum policy last week.
No.
Yeah, he said that when Biden tried to end it, remember what that was, is you had to wait in line to apply for asylum for months and then wait in Mexico while you were waiting in line to apply
Right.
for asylum, and then wait for a decision while never being allowed into the United States. So basically, people, if you remember, were camping out in the mud.
Yeah.
You know, waiting for, you know, the United States to even take their application. Well, Biden promised to end that program, and he did. And now a state Texas judge said that it was illegal for Biden to end that program. Basically, judges are now basically just another form of, acting like politics.
Yeah.
Depending on if it's a judge that was put in by Trump or it's a judge that was put in by the Democrats. Every time the Democrats tried to overthrow one of Trump's regulations, they went to a California court, because all those judges were put in by Democrats. And every time the Republicans want to overthrow a regulation that's Biden, they go into Texas, because those are all Republicans that were Trump put in.
Oh man.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he has agreed for 7 days to defer the final decision on the illegality of the Biden rule overturning what I would call an illegal remain in Mexico asylum policy, allowing the Biden administration to appeal that. So right now, it isn't even though he's overturned it, he is not in practice overturning it. We're going to let the appeals court decide on that.
Yeah.
Very
Let them
trifling.
just.
Trifling.
Yeah, it's very trifling.
And of course, Vanessa, your favorite part of the Schmooze, the coronavirus update.
Yeah.
It is Vanessa's favorite part of Schmooze.
Have it without, there'd be no Brad show without this
without the coronavirus update. How did we do a Brad show before coronavirus?
I actually remember it.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
It was more fun. Vanessa was here.
Yeah. But we always had Trump news.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
So
now
it's like
corona,
now
it's coronavirus.
Corona has taken over Trump.
Yes. Now it's coronavirus. By the way, I always say this, and it's now even like a new iteration, where you always, politicians need an enemy to rile people up, to get people to, come to their side, vote for them, keep them in power. You always need an enemy. Always. Successful politician, you show me a successful politician, I'll show you a politician who says we have enemies.
Right.
Okay? You show me politicians who lose, we have no enemies. Everything's fantastic. Okay? Now, talking about coronavirus, and I've been saying this for years on our show. I said, the enemy for Trump, it was immigrants.
Right.
Okay? During the George Bush era, it was Muslims and terrorists. In the 80s, we went back in the 80s, it was the Japanese with the television. In the 60s, it was the hippies. In the 50s, it was the communists and the Nazis. And go on and on and on. Everyone, you always needed an enemy. Always needed an enemy. You know who the enemy is now?
Coronavirus?
Scientists.
Scientists. I see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scientists.
Yeah.
Science is now the enemy of the people. It used to be immigrants.
That's wild. Yeah.
It used to be Nazis. It used to be communists. It used to be
That's the first.
Islamic terrorists. And you want to know why Islamic terrorists are no longer the enemy of the people? You want to know why I know they're no longer the enemy of the people?
It should be because we've seen so many terrorist acts, and they were not Muslim.
But you want to know why they're not?
Why?
Because here we are talking about Afghanistan and bringing refugees in from Afghanistan. And not once have we heard in the news anyone come up and say, wait a second.
Not once.
Why are we bringing all these terrorists into America?
If this was 20 years ago, I don't think that would have happened. I don't think they would have.
Now, Jill
been
says
letting
that's
them in.
not true. Republicans are, but I haven't seen.
Oh, I've not seen.
I have not seen it, and I haven't seen it on the level that people would. It would be 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see
Of course,
that.
people probably would say, but it's. You said what?
Where it would make more noise, where
Right.
people are
Right.
to it.
Yeah. I haven't. Jill says she's seen that noise. I haven't seen that noise. What I see every day is science is the enemy of the people. That's what I see every day now. Because we always need an enemy.
Well,
always need an enemy.
Let's talk about this enemy.
Yeah,
then.
it's rule 101 of politics. Find an enemy, get people all riled up. The Biden administration announced that COVID-19 vaccine booster shots They're going to be offered to all eligible Americans beginning September 20th. So starting September 20th.
Wait, so there's still people who aren't eligible?
No, you can get a booster right now.
Oh, the booster.
You can get a booster right now if you are infirmed or elderly or susceptible to COVID.
I need them to let us know if this booster is about to, get us sick again like the first one did.
Well, all I can say is that what I'm reading is that basically Israel is the test case for all of this, because Israel vaccinated most of their population, 70-80% of their population, and they got rid of all of mask mandates, quarantines. It was Mardi Gras in Israel for a couple of months, and now lots and lots of people, because of the Delta variant, obviously whatever shots they were taking were not protecting them. A lot of vaccinated people in Israel are getting sick with the Delta variant, which is the reason why the Biden administration, seeing what's going on in Israel, has authorized the third vaccination shot, because that's what Israel is doing now to protect their population. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization still recommends the world's most vulnerable get fully vaccinated before booster shots are offered. So the World Health Organization is saying the world should get vaccinated first before anybody gets boosted. That we're wasting our shots on boostering instead of giving people who don't have access to the vaccine at least the first opportunity to get it. And to me, the most ridiculous thing I've read about coronavirus, and I'm a big mask person and I'm a big vaccine person, anybody who's seen the show. But I gotta say, sometimes things are ridiculous.
What's ridiculous?
Yesterday, New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced a nationwide lockdown for New Zealand for at least 3 days. This is true. After the country confirmed one coronavirus case. One coronavirus case. Everybody stay home. That is...
So listen.
That is just absolute insanity.
I don't think it's insanity.
I think that's insanity.
I don't, because
why do you think that's not insanity?
Because my family's from Eritrea, which is a little country on top of Ethiopia. I remember my cousin was living there during the pandemic, and they had 6 confirmed COVID cases, and they shut everything down, which is why they were one of the least in Africa to have COVID cases around the time when everybody was it was just spreading like crazy. So if this one person, gets well, everybody's quarantined, then they won't have any problems. This is probably what we said, that we should have quarantined earlier. So what's the difference between quarantining when that one person get it than when thousands of people we were like, okay, now let's finally quarantine. If we stopped it early, then we wouldn't have had all this problem. So I say it's pretty smart.
I disagree.
It's pretty smart.
That's
because you want to go everywhere.
That's the most ridiculous
you
thing I've ever heard.
You want to be traveling and stuff.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Vanessa, you break the tie. The most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your life, or really smart, as Yo-Yo says?
Listen, everyone has their different take on how everyone should be going about this, but I still feel like we should be in a stage of precaution. Am I saying that we should be living a pandemic for the next 10 years? Absolutely not. But
yeah, so it depends on how long she's trying to have them quarantine. Now, I'm not talking about quarantine how we did a whole year, but
different
it's
places.
Pretty smart, right? Listen.
Oh.
It's wild that we're saying that it's crazy that a country who has no freaking cases except for one is crazy for what they're doing when we have millions out here.
Yeah. Can we rewind 4 million?
I understand that, but it's one person.
They're obviously doing something right. I'd
rather
do what they're doing.
Come on. All right, let's get to hump news. I think that was ridiculous. Let's get to hump news.
It's hump day.
All right.
Let the camels out. Oh.
All right, Britney Spears.
Speaking of letting them out.
Yeah, Britney Spears She is posting topless photos of herself on Instagram. She's explained she has posted.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. She is increasingly active on social media, and she has since used Instagram to express her frustration over her conservatorship. But she's also now posting a series of topless photos in the past month, which has confused and concerned some fans. Spears' first topless Instagram post came just days after she was granted permission to hire her own legal representation. Days later, she publicly feuded with her sister Jamie Lynn Spears. She posted her second topless image. 3 days later, Spears posted 2 further topless videos of herself. Some fans expressed concern that the images had been posted without her consent. However, the New Yorker explained last month that she typically writes her own social media posts, which are then vetted by external company for sensitivity.
I told y'all, I said she deserves her money. You know, it's her money. She worked hard for it. But I hope that she is sane enough to control it, because this right here is already showing.
Well,
concern, y'all. I'm concerned.
She says the topless post, they're confirming a deliberate attempt to reclaim her body after years of feeling self-conscious. She wrote, "I honestly feel that the weight of the world has been on my shoulders, and it's made me view myself that way. I wanted to see myself in a lighter way, naked, the way that I was born. I am a woman. I'm beautiful, sensitive woman who needs to look at myself in my purest form."
There's ways to do that, you know, tasteful ways to do that. I just, listen, I'm praying for you, Brit. You know, I'm Team Britney, but I just feel like
you know what? It's like she was literally like, you know, like handcuffed for 10 years.
Yeah.
So now you know, she's out and just like, you know, screw it. I'm living life. That's how I look at it. You know, she's letting it go and free.
I don't. Have you seen her videos?
I don't think whether it was a tasteful post, was really part of her social media strategy that morning. I think she was just posting off of feelings.
Yes.
Like pure.
Yeah, because I don't think it was tasteful, but that's a whole different thing. She's in control.
No, because I've seen a lot of, you know, women who claim that same thing. They want to, you know, they body positivity and just say, you know, I used to be so self-conscious and all that. And they actually do that with like magazine, you know, a whole like shoot, you know, cater to that. This right here is just like, it's just a lot for me. Listen, because old Britney wouldn't have done this, you know what I mean? And that's all I'm going by. Old Britney wouldn't have done this. Kudos to, you know, her body though. You know, I hope that she okay, y'all.
All right, so going from Britney Spears' boobs, we're gonna go to Utah Governor Spencer Cox. Now we all have one, at least men. We receive it at birth. The last name I'm talking about, Yo-Yo. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Women receive her last name too. Some are common, while some are a bit more unique. Now, Utah Governor Spencer Cox, with a surname relatively common in the state, recently shared a letter he received. He jokes in a Twitter post, "Really grateful for the criticism and constructive feedback I just got from a constituent that demands that I change my last name." In the letter attached to the post, a very concerned citizen calls on the governor to change his foul, dirty, and obscene last name. The Honorable Republican Party will not stand for it. Most importantly, I will not stand for it, writes the unnamed author. Myself and thousands of Utahns will be sitting in protest, not standing, until you change your last name from Cox to, what do they want him to change it to?
That's weird.
The letter continues, "This is a social justice issue. We will not be denied basic human decency." And Governor Cox is not the first person with his surname in the presence in politics. If you were alive in 1920, you may remember that Warren Harding, with anyone alive in 1920, but if you were, you may remember that Warren Harding defeated James Cox in the election for president.
All right, come on. We have a lot of ish in this world that we got to worry about. I don't give a damn about his last name being Cox. How about, remember Dick Cheney? Did they want him to change his first name? Like,
right.
Mark Keene, a Fairfax County, Virginia state legislator, tweeted to Cox, "Back in 1989, Virginia had a hotly contested state house between a Cox and a Dix. And Cox won."
well then.
Do you care that a governor's name is Cox?
Well, we care enough that we talked about it on Bradshaw Live. That is for sure. There's an anti-vax disinformation campaign going around saying that unvaccinated sperm is going to be the next Bitcoin. Yes, the idea that unvaccinated sperm price will outperform Bitcoin and gold has floated around Twitter for the last few months. Propaganda-powered accounts have memeified the idea, latching onto Bitcoin's growing presence in the mainstream. The meme kind of goes like this: COVID-19 vaccines will go so terribly wrong that baby crazy women will be forced to pay top dollar for sperm from men who've opted out of the Great Reset.
Well, I wouldn't be a part of that, so I'm vaccinated.
Unvaccinated sperm counts could rise faster than Bitcoin. Men who refuse the vaccine are the hottest men on planet Earth. We straight broads love men who refuse to bend the knee and kiss the ring of medical tyranny.
There you go, like you said.
Yep.
The evil.
So
the enemy is
if it
scientists.
turns out that the vaccine causes deformities in men's sperm who took the vaccine, they could be right.
They could be right.
But this is right now just a bunch of, nobody knows, it's just made up stuff.
Bunch of malarkey.
Malarkey! I was going to say malarkey too.
Were you?
Now, the CDC says vaccine shedding can only occur when a vaccine contains a weakened version of the virus. None of the vaccines authorized for the United States contain a live virus, and therefore, since there is no live virus, it cannot affect your sperm. They have done, the evil scientists have done studies, Yo-Yo. It does not affect your sperm.
There's just a lot of vaccine shaming going on lately.
Yes.
So don't call us not hot because we got vaccinated. We're not the hottest men on planet because we're vaxxed. Damn.
I can't say that's potentially the new,
I was about to ask, Nesquik, as the only woman and on the show. So do you feel like men that aren't vaxxed are hotter than men that are vaxxed?
I wouldn't say, because then that would be judging their character.
There you go.
Be appropriate, but if someone's putting that on their Bumble profile these days or on their Hinge profile, I wouldn't be surprised.
Meanwhile, I just want to make it clear, researchers at the University of Miami conducted a study to assess men's fertility after vaccination. They found absolutely zero negative effects on sperm. From December 17th, 2020 to January 12th, 2021, they recruited 45 healthy volunteers, 18 to 50. They were scheduled to get the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. The participants were pre-screened to ensure they had no previous or underlying fertility issues. Semen samples were taken before the first vaccine dose and approximately 70 days after the second dose, which is about how long sperm takes to regenerate. And scientists analyzed the semen specimens, and they said the spermies were just as good after as they were before.
Well, to play devil's advocate, that wouldn't really, convince me that there won't be any issues, because like even for myself, I don't know if there will be, because I think you would have to have at least a couple years in, so you can see what the sperm, how it's swimming, years later. Because 1 year, that's,
we're only looking at 70 days.
Yeah.
Well, that's the issue with vaccines.
Right.
You don't know what
the
long-term, the short-term effects, apparently, there are none.
Right.
Long-term effects.
So I could actually see, if knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't, but like if it did affect sperm, I can see how that could be, something that's wanted more than Bitcoin in the future. Hopefully it doesn't get down to that though.
Should I call my broker?
Are you going to invest in unvaxxed sperm?
Maybe. Buy! What is
man.
on bullet number 5? Let's see. One columnist wrote in The Guardian, Look up the price of sperm if you want a shock. It's more bonkers than Bitcoin. Male fertility testing stock Spermosens went public earlier this year. Ironically, sperm is already outperforming Bitcoin and gold.
Wow.
Yeah, who knew? Right now, a few years back, the magazine Vice noted that a vial of sperm sold for $370 to $890 on the fertility market, but it is now much, much more money. Yo-Yo, you've got the wrong job. Is that what he's thinking?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yo-Yo's in the wrong job.
Yeah.
Might be a lot of little yo-yos walking
Right.
around the world.
All of a sudden, Yo-Yo next week. I'm live from the fertility clinic.
You're going to see me with a bunch of jewelry. Yo-Yo, you seem like you got a lot more money lately.
Yeah, what's going on? Nothing.
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 Not a hustle.
Nothing.
A little side hustle.
Yeah, just. I don't want to shake your hand. That's all.
Right. Just took on a new hobby. Yeah, you definitely don't want to shake my hand after.
All right, let's go to today's education. I talk about incorporating a business and what the pros and cons of forming a corporation are. Let's watch. My goal is straightforward: to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your Incorporation Braducation. I'm not here to tell you what you'll want to know. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law, and achieve your American dream. For many entrepreneurs, incorporating a business is the best way to protect themselves and their owners and shareholders from personal liability for the business's actions and debts. So is incorporation right for you? Although the details can differ from state to state, the basic outline of the business incorporation process is the same. Let me break it down for you. First, incorporating a business means you have formed an entity that is separate from its owners. At the same time, corporations can still do many things that individuals can do, such as acquiring property, signing contracts, having bank accounts, and filing lawsuits. So when you incorporate, there is you as an individual person, and there is a separate and distinct corporation. You are not one and the same. So if you are a small business owner, you may be wondering whether to incorporate or not. Well, there are pros and cons to forming a corporation. The most common pro is that incorporating a business limits your personal liability for business obligations, meaning you protect your assets, such as your home or vehicles. So if you have lots of outside contracts with other individuals or companies, and you are running your business, and there is a dispute, the corporation is ultimately liable and can get sued in court, but you as a distinct individual person are safe from liability. Another pro is that a corporation's ownership is contained in shares that are easy to transfer from one owner to another. So a corporation is a good choice if you're planning to sell the business or attract investors. You obviously can't sell yourself, but you can sell a corporation. And unlike a sole proprietorship or general partnership, a corporation continues to exist beyond your life. So you can pass your corporation on to someone else if something happens to you, unless you decide to have the corporation dissolve upon your death. Now, here are the cons to incorporating. It costs money to set up and dissolve a corporation, and corporations have additional record keeping and annual reporting requirements that sole proprietorships and partnerships just don't have. And if your business is small and you're just starting, you may decide to wait to incorporate before taking on the added cost and responsibility. Another important thing to check before deciding to incorporate is how it will affect your taxes. Depending on your individual situation, a corporation may save you money or may cost you more in taxes. So you need to consult with an accountant on the tax consequences of incorporating. If after you've considered the pros and cons and you decided to incorporate, you'll need to prepare articles of incorporation and file them with the state. All right, let's get to our immigration questions, our meat and potatoes of the show. All right, Enzo, you're up. What's going on? Enzo.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi,
How
Enzo.
are you, sir?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you today?
What's going on?
Okay. So I'm calling because I have one issue.
What?
Yes, hello?
I'm listening.
Yes. I'm calling because I have one issue. I sent my form I-130
Right.
to USCIS, and they asked me, I sent everything. I'm legal here, but I got married, and I want to just change it. So I'm legal. I did everything. I'm legal before I did everything. So,
Enzo, we're 1 minute into a conversation. I don't understand one word you're saying. Do you have a green card? Let's start there.
no. I have nothing.
You have nothing.
I'm legal. I will. Yes.
Okay, how did you come to the United States of America?
With A2 visa.
An A2?
Yes.
As an Apple. So you work for the
Embassy.
U.S. Embassy. Okay.
Yes. Of my country embassy.
Okay. And you got married to a U.S. citizen here?
Yes.
Okay. And you filed what? An I-130, an adjustment? What did you file?
Yes, exactly. I-130.
Just an I-130, nothing else?
Yes, because I called the USCIS. They said you need to do I-130 before to go to the rest.
No, that's not true.
That's what they told me through the phone, and they said do not send anything, only I-130.
They told you incorrectly. You want to know why they told you incorrectly?
Why?
Because the person who answers the phone has not the slightest idea what the hell's going on with immigration.
Oh,
All
my
right?
goodness.
So you came on an A2 visa, you file an I-130 and an adjustment, but you have one additional thing you need to do. There's a form that you have to get signed by the council where you worked, waiving your diplomatic immunity.
Yes, exactly. That's what they told me. Just do I-130
No. File an I-130, an adjustment, along with the forms for the diplomatic immunity, waiving it.
Yes, so how can I do that then? So
You hire a good lawyer. Hold on 1 second, okay?
okay.
Let's go to Yvette in Roanoke, Virginia.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
So I came to the U.S. on a B1 visa, got married to an LPR, but I was unable to adjust my status. So I sent in the I-130 and it got approved. So now he is about to do his ceremony. So I was wondering what documents I need to send in to move forward.
All right. So you came on a B2 visa, you said?
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to file an I-45,
Mm-hmm.
an I-864, which is the affidavit of support by your husband, an
Yeah.
I-765 for the work permit, an
Yeah.
I-131 for the travel document, and a copy of your approved I-130 visa petition.
Oh, one more thing. When I got the approved I-130, they said that it was sent to the NVC in my country.
So you're going to write the NVC and say you're adjusting your status. Please return the approved I-130 to the local USCIS office. The other thing that you need to do is you've got to take a medical exam, and that medical exam has to be done within 60 days of you filing the application. The medical exam is done by an immigration doctor.
Oh, one last thing.
Yes.
So now you will be a citizen. How do I change that information from him being the LPR?
By just doing exactly what I told you to do.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Thank
You don't
you
have to do
so
anything
much.
more. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, bye. Yeah.
Let's go to Osariton in Houston, Texas.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah, thank you for your show. I was calling to ask if if I have a pending VAWA, is it possible I can remarry and file?
Yes, but then that would be the end of your VAWA.
Okay.
All right. So yes, you can remarry, but then you're withdrawing your VAWA and refiling again. You can't be remarried with a pending VAWA.
Okay. Is it possible I can use your office when I'm in Houston?
Absolutely. We have clients all over the United States. Hold on one second. Let's go to Mario in Jefferson City, Maryland.
Hi, Brad.
Hi,
Brad. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I'm just doing a follow up on my thing because I'm an F1 student, and I filed for my green card. My wife was an LPR at the time, and we did the I-130. And then after consulting you on this show, you told me to, after a year, you told me to file for the other stuff because I was beyond the waiting period, which I did. So I filed the I-131, the I-765, and the I-485, and they've all been received. Now, she became a U.S. citizen recently, about 3-4 months ago, and I just got back a notice, an I-797 notice of action, which is saying that my petition has been sent to the National Visa Center. So I don't know, how do I go about that? Because I'm still in the U.S.
You're okay. So, but you filed an adjustment application, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a receipt for the adjustment application?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have all the receipts.
All right. So I don't know why you got that receipt, but you should write the National Visa Center and say, please return the approved I-130. I have a pending adjustment.
I think they might have sent that because prior to that she was an LPR, but she recently became a citizen, so maybe that might be the case.
I'm not sure because I would have to look at all your documentation, but the gist is you have a pending adjustment. When you filed the adjustment, you showed proof that you had this I-130 pending, right? Or you filed a new I-130?
No, I showed proof that I had an I-130 pending.
Yeah, so then you should still be okay. Sounds like you did everything right. I don't know why you got that letter, but you should, most likely why you got that letter is it's done electronically. When you filed the I-130 visa petition originally, you probably checked off at the bottom of the I-130 that you're going to be processing your application at a U.S. embassy abroad because your wife is not was not a citizen at the time. So that's probably why it happened. You need to write the National Visa Center now, let them know that you have this pending adjustment, and please return to the local office.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go to Cecile in Brooklyn. Hi, Cecile. Cecile, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening. How
I'm
are you?
good, thank you. I wasn't hearing.
Okay.
Okay. Hi. So I have one question. Approximately how long after submitting the I-485 documents and payments does it take to get a receipt from the immigration?
It should take 2 to 3 weeks, but these days it's taken about 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah.
Everything is very
It's been today is exactly 5 months since I submit, and I'm not hearing nothing. I don't get a receipt or anything.
Do you know if your filing fees were cashed? Did they take your money?
Pardon me?
Did they take your money? You paid a filing fee for your application.
Yes. I paid them $1,000.
No, you didn't pay $1,000. Nobody pays $1,000 for a filing fee. That's not a proper filing fee.
I didn't do it personally. I had someone who did it for me, and she told me it's $1,000.
No, it's not $1,000. Who's
Wow.
What are you filing?
Where?
What are you filing?
I-485.
Okay, and
That's
you're based on marriage?
Yes.
Okay, the fee is $1,225 for the adjustment, $535 for the I-130. So you need to pay $1,760. So if somebody told you the filing fee is $1,000, either they took your money and never filed anything, or filed it with $1,000 and immigration didn't accept it. One or the other.
Okay.
So you have a problem. All right, hold on.
I do.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Thank you.
we got to the bottom of why you didn't hear. Got taken. Sam in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. I have a pending I-130 and I-485 filed by my wife.
Right.
I want to know if I'm eligible for expedition. I'm a lab tech. I work with urgent care.
Wait, Sam, can you just Sam, just 1 second. I just want to respond to one thing. I apologize about the other call. Sisha Mitchell said the $1,000 was probably the fee the person charged her for filling out the paper. Maybe it was, but still, if that's all she paid was $1,000, she never paid a filing fee either way. So nothing was ever filed for her. So either way, to me, she got taken. Okay, Sam, continue. Start again.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying my wife filed for me. Right now, I have a pending I-485 and I-130.
Right.
With my work permit and traveling parole. So I want to know if I'm eligible for expedition because I was a lab tech. I work with urgent care. So
you want to expedite your green card?
Yes.
No, that's not a reason to expedite a green card.
So even my work permit, I can't be able to expedite it?
You can expedite a work permit if you're going to lose your job.
Okay.
All right, that's what the new rules are. You can also expedite a work permit based on humanitarian reasons, your personal humanitarian reasons, not necessarily that you're a frontline worker.
Okay, so if they accept the expedition, how will I know if I submit
you'll get a work permit faster. You got the work permit. If not, they didn't.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Susan in Chicago.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. What can I do to help you today?
Hi. I just had a question. My priority. So my father did I-130 for me in 2016, and it got approved in 2018. And during this time, he was a LPR, and then he converted to a citizen. So my file changed from F2B to F1. So my I-130 that was approved was sent to NBC, and I requested that I revert back to F2B. And they told me that that's okay, so they allowed me to convert back. So I'm currently in the U.S., and I have a F1 visa, student visa, so I applied for adjustment of status, and it came back as rejected. So my question, and I think it was probably because maybe the USCIS thinks I'm in the F1 category, whereas
Correct.
the NBC thinks I'm in F2B.
Correct.
Because I thought they were both linked, so if NBC said it's okay, then
NBC has no idea what USCIS is doing and vice versa.
Yeah.
You just have to you have to send it all back with a explanation, cover letter explaining that you are requesting to revert back to the F2B category per the immigration.
Okay, and I would do that with, so I would do that with USCIS, right, if I want to do AOS?
Correct.
Also, and I'm graduating in December 2021, is there any way I can apply for OPT right now or no?
You can apply for CPT, which is a type of OPT while you are currently in school, but that means you're going to take a semester off to go work somewhere. You don't get to work and simultaneously go to school at the same time. My advice would be just refile the adjustment because you can presumably do it tomorrow. That will be the fastest way to get you a work permit.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Vimal in Maduri, India.
Yeah. Hi, Brad. This is Vimal. How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, sir. Sir, 2 years back, I had a DWI in Collin County, Texas. And after that, I was working there, and I came to India in 2018 December, and I couldn't able to come back again to US. In Qatar airport. The immigration officer blocked me, sir, and said that your H-1B visa is cancelled and you have to apply for a new visa. So my question is so I can get a new visa, sir. It's possible they will give me.
Well, it depends. A DWI could be a crime of moral turpitude, which is why they may have prevented you from coming to the United States. It depends on what the sentence was and what what you were actually found guilty of. I would need to see the actual disposition. I'm not familiar, off the top of my head at least, with the entire penal code of the state of Texas.
Yeah, because see, but the hearing is going on, sir. And they had issued a warrant because I couldn't able to go back to US.
So you never even had a final resolution on the case, and they just withdrew your H-1B. They prevented you
sir,
from.
No.
In other words, you got arrested for DWI. You went home. They didn't make a decision on the legal criminal case, under the DWI criminal case in Texas, and you got stopped at the airport and said you can't come back to America. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, sir. Actually, so I was attending the hearings. I had attended the 1-2 hearings, but I was after I have arrested. I have lived there in US for 1 year, 1.5 years. I have lived there, and I was working there. I am an IT employer. I'm a qualified person.
I understand all of that. Were you found guilty of a DWI when you got stopped in Qatar, or your case was still pending? That's my question.
My case is still pending, sir. I had a lawyer attorney.
So you never had a guilty plea of anything?
No, sir. No.
I don't know why they stopped you. They stopped you for some other reason other than that. There's more to your story then. Because they can't stop you because you got charged with a crime. They can stop you if you're found guilty of a crime, for sure. But not charged with a crime. Not a DWI, that's for sure. So there's maybe your employer withdrew your case. Is that possible?
No, sir. My employer say I'm like employment is everything is fine.
We would need.
I don't know.
We would need to see a record. There's more. There's something more there. It was not the DWI because you didn't have a guilty plea yet. They had no reason to stop you yet.
Okay.
So I don't know the answer, but we can get to the bottom of it. I just don't know why. We would have to pull the records and see.
Oh, you are not saying it is not regarding my DWA case, sir? You mean?
Not if based on what you told me. If you get arrested for a DWI and you go back home and you have a valid H-1B visa to re-enter the U.S., they can't stop you from coming back in because you got arrested. They could stop you from coming in if you have a conviction. They could prevent you from renewing your H-1B at a U.S. embassy, but not at the airport. That makes no sense to me.
No, but see, my visa has been revoked, sir. I got a mail from my U.S. consulate in India when I was in U.S.
Your visa was revoked for an additional reason. It was not just the DWI, because you didn't have a guilty plea. You weren't found guilty of anything yet. So hold on one second. There was more to your story. I don't know the answer, but there's more to your story. It wasn't the DWI. Let's go to Chad in Arlington, Virginia.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, yes. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for taking my call.
What can I do to help you?
I'm originally from Cameroon, and I adopted one of my nieces because there was a war going on there. And at this moment, I'm really afraid for her safety. And so on the USCIS website, on the State Department website, I saw something about being able to have somebody get some kind of advanced parole from outside the United States for humanitarian reasons.
Yeah, humanitarian parole.
Sorry?
Humanitarian parole, yes.
Right. So I want to find out if it makes sense to go ahead and file an application for advanced parole for my adopted daughter, given that she's in a war zone and it's for humanitarian reasons.
Who's raising your daughter right now?
Well, she lives with some other relatives, and obviously she goes to a boarding school. And more often than not, kids from boarding schools have been dragged out and kidnapped multiple times.
Okay. And where is the biological parents of this child?
The dad went missing, and the mom she's still alive.
She's what?
She's alive, and she lives in Cameroon too.
Okay. Does your daughter live with the mom or no?
Sorry, no. She mostly goes to a boarding school, and then during the break she would go.
And you adopted her where?
In Cameroon.
In Cameroon. You could certainly try. Did you ever live in the same home as her?
No, not at all. Because I mean, she was born way after I
So that's
came to the U.S.
the problem you're going to face in trying to get your daughter here, because unless you lived in the same home with her for 2 years, if you did an adoption in Cameroon, she's not going to be able to come to America. I mean, you could certainly try the humanitarian parole, but your adoption of her is moot unless you're going to go live with her for 2 years. Really, what you needed to do was file an orphan petition. But if you already got consent of a mother, the child's not orphaned. So you went about it the wrong way to get this child here. Is humanitarian parole the best way to do it? I'm not sure. Certainly is a way to do it. Certainly you can try. And it's, no harm, no foul. But is that the best way? I'm not certain. I know that there was a way to do it through an orphan petition, but you didn't do it properly. Maybe there's other ways too, but it sounds like you need a consultation if you really want to get this child here.
So I understand what you're saying. So, is it possible then to get any kind of a visitor's visa for
They're not going to get a visitor's visa. The humanitarian parole may be the better way to do it, but I'm not even sure that's the best way to do it. So hold on one second, okay? You need a consultation. We got to talk it through. Let's go to Precious in Plainfield, Illinois.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, great. I wasn't sure if you can hear me. So I have two different set of questions. The first one, my friend in Ghana has an F1 visa interview appointment scheduled for September 9th, and his school start date is August 23rd. For the fear of being refused a visa due to a later interview date, he decided to defer his admission to spring 2022. He already paid his visa fee for his current appointment. Will he need to pay another visa fee and book another appointment due to the extension of his start date?
Well, can he start school remotely and show the embassy he's remote learning and it's only a couple weeks and then get his visa?
This
Is
school,
that possible?
No, this school want him to be here present because they can actually deny him.
So then he would need to get a appointment earlier. If not, he would have to delay a semester and then come in for next semester. Those would be his options.
Right. So now the problem is, since he's doing like nursing, he would need to go in some days in a week for lab. So that is the problem.
So I understand that. So my answer to you is either somebody needs to speak to the embassy to get a quicker appointment. Somebody needs to speak to the school to see if he can do a remote learning and do the lab once he comes, or he's got to postpone until next semester. Those are his options.
Right. So he's looking to postpone to next semester, and actually he's on the expedited interview request. But even on the expedited interview request, there are no interviews until 2024. So that is why he's looking to start it in September, in the fall of 20.
You're telling me he can't get an appointment until 2024?
Yeah, if he loses his current appointment scheduled for September the 9th.
Then he needs a consultation. We need to call the embassy, okay? There's no other answer, all right? So if you're not able to get him an appointment, then somebody else needs to get it for him, one or the other. Okay, so hold on one second. Let's go to Antonio in Brentwood, California.
Oh, hi, Brad. How are you? Good. My friend is trying to file for... Okay, so no, my friend's husband wants to file for her and his stepchildren, right? So they basically need all the same petitions. I want 30 for each one of them, 485 and so on.
If they're all here in the United States, yes. Everybody needs a separate adjustment.
Okay, so you cannot do like one, I want 30 for both, right?
Your friend is who? A citizen,
my
a
friend,
resident? Who are we talking about?
Citizen, U.S. citizen.
A U.S. citizen's filing for who?
U.S. citizen filing for wife and stepchildren.
Yes, you file a separate application for each. You can't add the stepchildren onto an I-130.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. My second question is, do you know if regular cops can add somebody to a no-fly list?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Tracy in New York. Tracy.
Hello?
Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Hi, good night. I'm fine, thank you. Good night, Brad. I would like to ask two questions. The first question is, I sponsor my husband, and immigration deny him the opportunity to fix his status here because they believe he married in Burkina Faso. So he went back to Burkina Faso, and I reapplied for him. And they sent a RFE, and they asked for proof that he did not get married. So he sent me a letter certified from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs showing that they did a search and he did not get married there. Okay. And I submit that to immigration. Okay. And it's been over like 8 months. They haven't answered me back yet. So I called them and they told me that give them another 30 days and they will send out a letter to me. So what my question is now, since my husband is not here and he had his social and everything, should I still file tax for him or I should not file tax?
No, you don't need to file a tax. I mean, you can if you want, but he's not physically here at the moment. So I don't think it really matters. Do whatever's your tax. I'm not a tax expert, but it's not going to have any effect on your immigration one way or the other. Do whatever your tax preparer or your tax accountant or tax lawyer tells you to do.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is, my cousin, he's 32 years old. His stepmom living in the United States, and he came to visit. So he wants to know if it's possible that she can sponsor him. Because his father died in the process. So
she can if the father married this stepmom before he was 18 years old, but he is going to wait 5 to 7 years for a green card, and he'll be out of status, have to do a provisional waiver, go home and come back.
Okay, thank you so much, Brad. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye.
All right. Let's go to Mike in Portland. Mike.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, how are you?
How about you?
Good. What's going on?
Oh, so basically, a couple of weeks ago, I came back from Costa Rica, and then I went to LA Airport. So the CBP stopped me, sent me to a secondary check. So I went through the secondary check. They checked everything. Everything was fine, right? They saw a couple of documents. They checked the documents. There was nothing wrong with it. So they let me go. So right now, it's time for me to file for my naturalization. So it's been 5 years now. And I did the application and everything online. But I'm not sure if I should send it, submit it, or just wait.
I don't know why they stopped you and what documents you were showing. So what was involved?
So basically, they stopped me just for, I don't know, because I'm holding a green card or what. I don't really know why they stopped me, but they sent me to a secondary check. So the secondary check, they checked everything, and then they asked me how. So they asked me where I was coming from. I told them. They asked me how much money I was having. I said I have $3,000 in cash. So they put those information in the system, and then they sent me to another secondary check. They checked my bag and everything, and then they found my family members' passports in my bag, and then they checked everything. Everything was fine, and then they let me go.
What do you know why they stopped you?
So basically, whenever I come to the U.S., they usually send me to a secondary check whenever I come in.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why, but since they give me the green card, whenever I come into the U.S., I have to go through secondary check.
Well, I think we should look into that. I think you should file your citizenship unless you feel you've done something wrong, but we should certainly look into why they keep stopping you. There's obviously something. Okay. All right, but yeah, if you didn't do anything wrong, you know whether you did something wrong or not. If you didn't do anything wrong, file your citizenship. If you feel concerned, have a consultation. You know more than anybody.
That's right. But I haven't done it. The only thing that I know that was that they just stopped me and then checked my bags and then found the passport and then they let me go.
Then file your citizenship.
Okay.
All right. Good luck.
All right, cool. All right. Thank you very much, man. All right.
Let's go to Mishak in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. My name is Mishak.
Yes.
I'm calling for my mom. She's trying to file in for my older brother. So she won the DV, the resident visa, but she never added him to the paperwork. So I don't know.
Is she a citizen or a resident now?
Huh?
Is she a citizen or resident?
She's a resident.
So when she won the DV lottery, she didn't mention that she had this son, and now all of a sudden she wants to file for him.
Yeah.
Why didn't she mention she had a son?
She added me to the paperwork, but
This
the
is
person
you.
that yeah,
You're
she
the
added
son.
me to the.
Okay.
Yeah, we are two. I have my older brother. She added me to the paperwork, but the person that was doing the paperwork for us at that time, they told her that you cannot do that because they're gonna deny you a lot of stuff and stuff like that.
They were going to deny you because probably she wouldn't be able to support a family of 3, but could support a family of 2.
Yeah, so that's why she never added him to the
Right.
paperwork.
Well, it's a problem because there's a misrepresentation. So, they could always try to take her green card back for misrepresentation. I think she's going to need a lawyer. So hold on one second, okay?
All right.
It's not just regular filing. All right, by the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. You could drop me a DM. I'll be happy to help you. You could also follow us at Brad Show Live. You don't like 2 hours of this, but you like 30 seconds, follow us on Instagram at Brad Show Live. You could also drop me a question on TikTok, and I have been sending video responses to TikTok every day, right, Jonathan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And they love it.
They love it.
Yes, they do.
It's our fastest growing social media. So
And
follow us
continuing to grow.
And so follow us at Brad Show Live on TikTok.
Yes, and you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
And later, after we check in with social media, I will be speaking with Puerto Rican actor and comedian Carlos Santos, who currently stars in the hit Netflix original series Gentefied, and also co-hosts the Latinx podcast Spanish Aquí Presents.
Yes, and yeah.
You didn't think I was going to be able to pronounce Aquí?
Yeah, well, just making sure,
Okay.
couldn't do Linda.
Yes, that's right.
All right, and before we start getting into social media check-in, in today's attorney close-up, Spar and Bernstein partner and personal injury attorney David Livy discusses whether undocumented construction workers in New York City have the right to a safe worksite.
It is the duty, and it is a non-delegable duty, which means that they can't point fingers and say, we did what we had to do, the employee should have known better. That doesn't fly in New York. The duty and the responsibility lies with the contractors. And as an employee, you are not expected to voice your concerns and potentially lose your job. It's their job to ensure that you are operating in a safe work environment. And they have to provide you and construction employees with the proper tools to remain safe at work. Another important fact that I try to advise all of our clients is that your immigration status, whatever it may be, is irrelevant. It's not a question that they're even allowed to ask or inquire about, because whether you are a citizen or a non-citizen, that doesn't matter. You are working on a construction site, and if you've suffered an injury, whether because the contractor failed to provide you with the proper equipment or failed to follow appropriate safety guidelines, that fault lies with them, and whether or not your immigration status is one way or another, that is irrelevant, and you should have no concerns about that. Workers have rights, and your city understands that and values that. Whenever an accident occurs on a construction site, do not hesitate, do not wait. Immediately, as soon as practical, call us. We'll give you the information, we'll let you know your rights, and we'll listen to your case for a free consultation. We're here to help. We have helped hundreds and thousands of people, and we're ready, willing, and able to help you as well.
All right, let's check out social media check-in. Check out in.
We could check in.
We could check in
On social media check-in. All right.
Or we could check out social media.
We could check. We could.
What do we do? Do we check out social media check-in, or we check in with social media check-in?
We're checking out what the squad is checking into on social media.
Oof.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
She's brilliant, this Vanessa.
Thank God you're here.
All right, what's going on?
Yes, our first one, Khan Notlima, Brad Squad VIP member. How long is the estimated time to receive an I-485 receipt from immigration?
About 8 weeks.
Charity Bracky, another Brad Squad VIP member. If I am a citizen of the U.S., once I get guardianship of a child outside the U.S., how long does it take for the child to get here after I file?
There's no guardianship of child filing. She adopted the child?
They don't. They just say.
Yeah, there's no such thing as guardianship filing. If you adopted the child, and you have legal guardianship of the child for 2 years, and you lived with the child in the same home for 2 years, you can file for the child.
Akif Virani, a Brad Squad VIP member, regarding my question from yesterday about birth certificates, I'm not filing the green card for my father. He is on an H-1B visa, and his priority date will be current soon. Does he still require non-availability of birth certificate from his home country if he already has the documents that I mentioned yesterday, which is the matriculation certificate, school leaving certificate, Indian tax ID number with his birth date?
He would still need to show that his birth certificate is not available.
Yeah, like it's the same thing that she's, yeah. So the affidavit,
yes,
right.
Correct.
Okay. Carrie Damfa, another Brad Squad VIP member. Why do they keep cases in administrative processing when all fees are paid and all paperwork is correct? They just keep saying they don't know when it will be out of administrative processing. It is the embassy in Naples, Italy.
Administrative processing is another way for saying we're not making a decision till we feel like it. It could be for 100 different reasons. It could be security checks. It could be they're swamped with work. They're lazy and it's a bureaucracy. It could be that they need higher ups to review something. Administrative processing is the catch-all phrase for we'll make a decision when we feel like it.
Michael Overcome Newsome, Brad Squad VIP member. How long after getting my 10-year green card and getting divorced can I marry someone else and file for that person?
5 years from the time you got your initial conditional card or 10-year card.
Richmond Osarfo on Facebook. I'm married to a U.S. citizen. I overstayed my visa after we got married. Am I supposed to file a waiver for overstaying? And will I have to go to my country while I file the waiver?
No, you don't need a waiver. You can adjust your status here.
Muhammad Islam on YouTube. Is there any hope for crime victims in the coming budget reconciliation? Last week, Biden ordered ICE not to catch or prosecute undocumented crime victims. If this is true, then why?
Because they're trying to make it easier for you to get a U visa. The U visa exists for victims of crime who are undocumented.
The Irrational Skeptic on YouTube. My friend was arrested in upstate New York. He was on an F1 I-120 but fell out of status. He has been in jail since December and he hasn't pleaded to anything. They offered him Class E felony, nonviolent. He is married but has no pending AOS. Is there any way for him to remain in the United States? He is still in jail and ICE has a detainer on him.
The answer is yes. His wife should be filing for him. If he doesn't have a conviction yet, he's eligible for bail, both from the criminal and from ICE. So he should be getting bail in both. Since he has no conviction, he should be fighting his criminal case, and his wife should be filing an adjustment for him immediately and hoping that he does not plead guilty or he's not found guilty of something that would prevent him from at least filing a waiver.
Shivani Sharma on YouTube. Is there something for legal backlogged employee-based people in the reconciliation bill?
We don't know yet.
For L Ever Stepping on YouTube, how hard is it to get a medical deferred action if I have a citizen child that's sick?
You can file for it. A deferred action means I can't leave on my visa. I want to be able to stay here. It depends on what is the sickness of your child. Is there medical facilities for your child back in your home country, or is this the only place in the world where he can get medical treatment?
Akmadali Islomov on YouTube. I have an asylum case referred to the immigration court, and my lawyer is saying chances of winning the case are low. However, I'm in a bad marriage where I can file for VAWA. Do you think I should continue with the asylum case or file for VAWA?
Well, if your chances are low on asylum, we should be looking for another way. VAWA sounds like a good way.
Ahia Nacho Abijeraku Jane on YouTube. I am in deportation proceedings due to the asylum I filed 2 years ago, but I have been married for 2 years, done my interview, and I am waiting for my green card approval. How do I go about this?
How do you go about it? You should have filed an I-130 visa petition, get the I-130 approved, and then adjust your status before a judge. I'm not sure what you're talking about in terms of waiting on your green card approval, but it sounds like you need a lawyer.
Ashish Bardua, YouTube. I responded to my RFE 257 days ago. My RFE was regarding my status before I-485 filing and my medicals. Now, when I contact USCIS, they say it's under extended review. What should I do with this situation?
Wait, why is it under extended review? I don't understand.
Just as responded to my RFE 257 days ago, and the RFE was regarding the status before I-485 filing and medicals.
There's nothing you can do responding to an RFE. They're supposed to make a decision within 120 days, but there's nothing you can do for at least 1 year. Then you can talk to me about a mandamus.
Okay, last one comes from Nicole Rogers Haley's on Facebook. How long does a wife have to wait to get her 2-year green card if she is married to a U.S. citizen?
Is she here in America or is she in another country?
We don't know, Brad.
All right, if she's adjusting here, it's about a year. Outside of the United States, pre-COVID, it was a year, but now probably closer to 18 to 24 months. All right, Gentefied Season 2 is starting up, and actor and comedian Carlos Santos, who stars in the Netflix original series, has joined me to discuss what it's like working with executive producer America Ferrara on Gentefied and his career path, which is taking him from Puerto Rico all the way to Hollywood to be on a hit TV show. Let's watch. Carlos Santos is a Puerto Rican actor and comedian who is presently starring in the hit Netflix series Gentefied. Executive produced by America Ferrara, the series is about a Latino family in the East LA neighborhood of Boyle Heights. You may also know Carlos from the podcast Spanish Aquí Presents as the host of MTV's Meet TRL and as the Metro PCS man. He joins me to discuss his career path and what it's like to represent the Latinx community through his craft. Welcome, Carlos.
Hey, Brad, what's going on, man?
How are you? Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So you star in the Netflix series Gentefied. It premiered February 21st, 2020, and it's been renewed for a second season. So congratulations on that. What is Gentefied about?
Well, it's set in Boyle Heights, and it's called Gentefied because gentrification usually is about the process by which people from outside a community come in, put a lot of money into it, and they push the people that have categorically been a part of that community. And there's a process of erasure that obviously people fight against. Gentification, which is a play on the words, it's from its own people. So what's ended up happening is that a lot of young people from the community have gone out to become professionals, but then they decide to come back,
right,
and bring money in and bring new things and change things while still being a part of the community. So it's a very delicate balance. And so I think the show just kind of like gives you like a slice of life in terms of like the more personal aspect of what that looks like. And we're not really trying to have an answer specifically, but we're definitely trying to explore what that means.
Let's watch a trailer.
We need a new approach. I'll give you a brand new list of ingredients that we can try out, and it's gonna be great. People love discovering new things.
No, we've been here, fool.
Gotta go all the way to Paris to be a chef.
I'm gonna back Michelin stars in Boyle Heights.
Estamos preocupados por Chris.
Chris is going to be fine. He can afford help like therapy or Whole Foods.
¿Qué dijiste, Whole Foods? Te pasas toda la vida construyendo un negocio. Para que un pendejo te lo quite.
We're not gonna save the shop with a burrito. We're gonna save it with some changes. ¿Qué es eso? Chicken tikka masala taco.
Esto no es comida mexicana. No es comida mexicana.
Oye, ¿tú estás seguro que es mexicano? I'm more Mexican than all y'all.
Now, the show is in Spanglish, but there's English subtitles too, so it's easy for non-Spanish speakers to follow the story as well.
It's mostly in English. Our family, with just 3 cousins and our grandfather, that's basically the Morales family. The grandfather doesn't speak English, which is something that happened. The showrunners, Marvin and Linda, really took from their own life and a bunch of experiences. And so we had the opportunity to show what that meant, to be able to talk to my grandfather in the show in English, but have him only speak to us in Spanish. So we just didn't hold back, or we did that thing where you say something and then you repeat it in another language to make it easier. To have the most authentic expression of that meant that sometimes people just go off in Spanish if it made sense. But for the most part, my character speaks English. Most of the show is in English. It's just not afraid to go to Spanish if it's organic and it means something to the scene.
Does that kind of hit home for you? Because I believe just, mostly, even in Puerto Rico, most of the older generations don't speak English and the younger generations do. So did that kind of hit home for you?
Absolutely. And my nephews and nieces grew up in the US. I grew up in Puerto Rico, so I left after my freshman year of college. So I was able to just have my experience in Spanish while still learning English, because I was at an English school there for a couple years, but cable TV was a part of it.
Were you always a comedian growing up, even when you were little? Everyone said you were funny.
Yeah, I think I was blessed in that by the time I was 14, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I feel like I realized that I had an affinity to try to make people laugh from very early on. I was trying to figure out what that was, comedy, try to make people laugh, trying to get a positive reaction out of people. And then I was like, oh, I think this is a career choice, maybe.
You really chased your dream, because originally I understand you were going to be an engineer.
The reason I got into engineering was literally because my friend told me computer engineering is actually, you make a lot of money. And I was like, all right. But literally, me and math, we do not get along. To make a career out of that would have been so funny. I just did it for my freshman year when you're not really going into engineering. I ended up switching over to theater arts. So I went in the exchange program. I went to Fresno State, and that first semester, I ended up doing everything that had nothing to do with engineering. I ended up taking acting classes, singing classes. I did everything that I wanted to do, for me, I was more like a life training. And by the end of that year, I ended up switching over to theater arts, and I ended up graduating.
After college, you moved to LA. Tell me what it was like.
I was just happy to be pursuing this thing. I feel like that alone fueled me for so many years at the beginning. And I was lucky too, because by the time I moved to LA, within a month, I was auditioning for hosting. I took a detour into hosting. I ended up working first at a local television station here in LA called LA TV. And eventually that's how I got the experience to audition for MTV 3. Right. And then I moved to New York, and I did that for 4 years. So altogether, I hosted for 7 years. My struggle came after I decided I was going to stop hosting, because I realized that that's not what was fulfilling. It wasn't for me. I wanted to focus as an actor and as a comedian. And so I had to make a choice. And that choice took money from me, because
you gave up a good gig.
Did not take hosting jobs. So for 2 years, I was broke. But it was a sacrifice that I realized that I needed to take. I feel like, especially as minorities, sometimes you get pigeonholed and it's hard to shake it off. So I realized that if I just kept doing hosting stuff, that's the only thing that I was going to be seen as. And so, it took a while. But now I feel like those decisions and those sacrifices that I made 10 years ago now are seeing the fruits of that with Gentefied. I remember, I think 2012 was the toughest year for me. A lot of things happened in my life that were unfortunate. My dad passed away. I was most financially stressed that I've been in my life, and a bunch of other things happened, but there was never a time where I was like, uh-oh, I should go host.
When was it that you figured out this is paying off?
So for me, having financial freedom was the first thing that I wanted to do. And thankfully, I was able to do that when I got Metro PCS, which was literally at the beginning of 2013. So that was the beginning of being able to say, okay, now that I am financially stable, now I can start focusing on the stuff that I want, because I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pay for my bills or my rent. I'm not going to be home. So now that this is good, now let me focus on, and so I was able to reconnect with UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade. I started doing comedy again.
You play the trained chef cousin, Chris Morales. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the character of Chris is very interesting. They call him Coconut, which is, to tell you everything you need to know about the character. His parents moved him to Idaho when he was younger. So he got to have his formative years. So he was very much acclimated into more of white culture than his cousins in Boyle Heights. So when he comes back, he's just searching for acceptance, and he's searching to be a part of something while still battling the fact that people don't accept him. And so like when he was in Idaho, he felt he was pushed away because he wasn't white enough, that whole deal. So it's like an existential crisis kind of a situation. At the same time, he's still following his dreams, which in the show is to be, to go to France and, a Michelin-starred chef.
What is it like working with America Ferrara?
Fantastic. She's great. And the good thing is it's good to have directors that are either very comfortable with actors or know what it feels like. She always made it very comfortable, and she always made sure that all the actors were taken care of. I was really happy that I got to do the 2 episodes where my character went through like the most in the series with her.
It shines a light, Gentefied, on many different issues. Without giving too much away, can you give us a little bit about what you're trying to get at, what is relevant to the Hispanic community?
It's a delicate balance of upgrading to a certain degree, upgrading the way people live in a place while still not erasing the culture. Putting it in those personal terms, I think it opens it up for discussion. And the good thing about the show is that it really keeps it real. Like these are experiences that actually are affecting us. And I think that's why it's elevated for some people. Like it really touched people's souls. Like the show really resonated with a lot of people because we're truly like diving into a lot of the things that are happening in these communities.
Let's watch a clip of your stand-up.
And I don't mind telling people, about Puerto Rico, but sometimes I like to make stuff up just to see how people react. They're like, what part of Puerto Rico are you from? And I'll be like, I'm from jamón y queso. Spanish speakers? Okay, I like that. Awesome. Which is impossible, sir, that's looking at me with a weird face. Because I just said ham and cheese. Yeah, and we can't live in ham and cheese as much as we would all love to. You can't live it. And I'm tough, but I'm fair, because if somebody sincerely wants to know about Puerto Rico, I'll totally sit them down with Google and blow their mind with information. But if I say jamón y queso and you go, yeah, jamón y queso, yeah, that sounds so familiar. And I know you're just being a...
All right, that's very funny. When you were hosting Meet TRL, you got to interview Alicia Keys, Beyonce, Ricky Martin. What was it like interviewing them? Were you starstruck?
I never really got starstruck with music celebrities. I think I would get most taken back when comedians or actors would come, mostly because it was a reminder that I was on the wrong side of it. But still, it was fantastic. I have a really great experience with Jennifer Lopez. In 1999, On the Six came out. It was the summer when the album came out. I went to like a record store in Puerto Rico to get it signed and take a picture with her, and we did all that thing. And like in 2007, she came onto the show, and so I was able to show her those pictures. It was very surreal because I did the Puerto Rican Day Parade for the first time through MTV3, and she came along. So it was like going from that to that. It was definitely like a whoa, crazy. Those kind of moments are really cool, but I never really got starstruck. I think it was very much like, let's get to work, let's do all these things. Like Steve Carell came one time and I got to do a sketch with him, which was an amazing experience. It was probably one of the best experiences for me to write a sketch that he got to do with me and Anne Hathaway. They were promoting Get Smart at the time. It was a sketch called Pedrito, the Inappropriate Intern, and it was just like an intern he was just like inappropriate. It was just saying things that once he realizes he thought that Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway, they spoke Spanish because he used to watch The Office, but like dubbed. It was fun. It was fun because I wrote it, they looked at it, and we shot it in one take, which meant that there was a lot of that was improvised. It was just such an amazing experience to just play with somebody so good. Yeah, I always look back to that as one of like probably the touchstones of being at MTV3.
All the risks you took to follow your passions and your dreams, it all worked out. You have a recurring role on Gentefied, and you also have a very popular podcast, Spanish Key Presents. What's your podcast about?
While at UCB, I met up with these wonderful people that I continued to find myself playing with and finding that we had a lot of chemistry. Riza, Tony, and Oscar, really great improvisers and comedians in their own right, and actors as well. And so Riza ended up fighting for a show, like a live show. There hadn't been a live show at UCB with all Latinx people or talent on stage. So she fought for this show, and that's what Spanish Key Presents became. It became like a variety show for us to bring everybody that usually don't get, the people that don't get stage time for the most part, And then it gave us an opportunity to bring in people that we could interview and then also be able to do a little improv with. So we did that for 2 years before the pandemic stopped it. We had our 2-year anniversary in 2020, but we were able to transition into podcast. And so we started a podcast last year on Earwolf and Stitcher, and we haven't stopped.
Where can people follow you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at, of course, it's Carlos. On Twitter at it's Carlos Santos.
You do your own social media?
I do. All my content. The good thing is that I've always edited my own projects. Like even when I was at MTV, I taught myself how to edit when I was younger. Those skills that I did because I loved doing short films with my friends when I was in high school and then in college with my best friends from Puerto Rico, translated perfectly to producing segments and sketches when I moved on to MTV. So these skills that I've kind of done just for fun have turned into something very valuable for me. I used to be a computer. Now I do all of my editing on my phone, like video editing, posters, art, anything. I just do everything in my phone. So I'm just happy to stay up to date with the trends.
One last question. What is your American dream?
I am in the process of continually reaching my dreams in terms of my career. And as we move forward, I think the biggest American dream that I could think of is everyone having the privilege to not have to justify their existence. Everyone should be able to do that. I think that would be the perfect American dream, if we could all just be and be accepted.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate your time, Carlos.
Thank you, Brad.
Watch Gentefied, great show. Follow him on his podcast as well, Spanish Key Presents. Thanks for coming on, Carlos. I really appreciate it.
Later, brother.
All right, to answer everybody's questions, Gentefied Season 2 is reportedly coming to Netflix in late 2021. So Yo-Yo and I have a binge watching
to do. Yes. I know. I see everybody asking there.
Watching it. I didn't finish, but I started.
Season 1 is already up, by the way, so you can binge watch Season 1 if you missed it.
Do you like it, Nesquik?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah.
She already started watching Season 1.
Yeah, she said she likes it.
Yeah.
It's
There we go.
not a like, wow, that's the greatest thing I ever saw in my life, but she likes it. Do you love it or like it?
She likes it.
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it. Was it worth enjoyable? Thumbs up. Thumbs up? Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Okay, comments of the day.
No, speed round, sir.
Oh, speed round.
Look, and Julian actually threw up the comments of the day.
Damn.
He was like, peace.
All right, speed round.
Yes.
All right, that was not promising. That I wanted to skip it. All right, let's go.
So wait, we're still
good.
We're still good. All right. Okay.
For now, this will be number 10.
Yeah.
Number 8. Number 8.
Number 8. Okay, let's keep it up. All right, ready?
Go.
Can a permanent resident have her sisters come visit her?
If they can get a visitor's visa.
Will my mom becoming a citizen shorten my wait for my visa?
Yes.
Can I petition for my cousin to come to the U.S.?
No cousin petitioning.
Can I provide an affidavit of support to my nephew for a student visa?
You can.
Can I wait for my I-130 approval here if I'm on a visitor's visa?
You can, but you may overstay.
Can I receive work authorization if I entered the U.S. with ESTA?
No.
Can a green card holder bring his sister to the U.S.?
If they have a visitor's visa, but you're not bringing anybody.
If I'm on a travel visa, can I get a green card without getting married?
Unlikely, but you can see what your options are.
Can I file for my cousin as an employee for my business?
No. And the reason was because you can't sponsor a family member for business.
I knew that.
You know that
knew that
because you have to open the job up to an American, but you would never open up a job to an American if it's your family. You would never give an unknown American to you a job over a family member. All right. I'm too tired to dance. All right, let's go to comments of the day.
It be like that.
It's one of those days. All right, what do we got?
All right, our first comment of the day comes from Javel Finnegan saying, it's that time of the day where you unwind from what you're doing and tune in to Brad's Immigration Law Show.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what our time to unwind is?
After.
Yeah. We have a different time.
Our second comment of the day, and seems like our last comment of the day,
Only
came
two.
from Stargirl People, saying, Brad, I'm patiently waiting for my case to finish so I can come to the office to share my story. Oh, and to give you a big hug and squeeze.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh,
I can't
she
wait.
gonna come all the way from Florida.
I can't wait. I just wanted to share the story, but a hug and squeeze, that's like a cherry on the top.
Listen, absolutely, we're here for that.
All right, so I am not going to be here tomorrow and Friday. Thus, no show tomorrow and Friday. My daughter is starting freshman year in college in Atlanta, and somebody by the name of Daddy's got to move her down and get her in the dorm. We'll see you Monday.
Oh, it's time.
So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?